Morning guys, how's it going? It's been about 3 weeks now since I did the ultra. Just been gradually getting back into training with no specific plan. The first week I just did a little bit of walking, and the second week 2 or 3 really short runs, and today I'm out for the longest run so far. Should be about 14 kilometres out and back along the trails to the motorway junction. Really glamorous. It's nicer than it sounds. You may have noticed that wearing these headphones, earpod things, don't usually. I've tried running with music and stuff before. I had those big over the head, what looked like ear defenders. They were a bit heavy and sweaty, so I gave up on those. And I tried the wired little earpod things, but the wire just used to annoy the heck out of me, bouncing around my neck all the time. But now Soundpeats have kindly sent me these RunFree Lites to try out, so I'm having a go today. And yeah, so far it's a much better experience than what I'm used to. So there's hope that I may be running with music or podcasts in the future. Could actually do with a bit of help with a podcast problem I've got. I rarely listen to podcasts, and I discovered this one just browsing on Spotify one day a few months ago. It's called Chatterbix, and it's just Joe Wilkinson, who's a British comedian, and his pal David Earl, who I believe is a comedy writer, actor. Don't know if he's done stand-up. Wasn't really familiar with his work until I started listening to this, but I know Joe Wilkinson from the telly, so I thought it was going to be funny. I started listening, and it's basically 2 guys who don't know what to do on their podcast. It's daily, so every morning they're trying to do about 25 minutes worth of chatting, and they've never got anything prepared. They don't know what they're going to talk about, most of the time, and honestly 90% of it is just dire tripe. Just these 2 guys complaining that the podcast's rubbish and wishing it was better, and putting themselves down and complaining. So I don't know why I'm still listening to it, but I'm one of those people who, when I start something, I tend to want to see it through. So I tend to watch series to the end and listen to things to the end, read books to the end, even when I'm not really enjoying it. So I just want to complete it, which is not ideal in this situation. It's a daily podcast. I started when it had already been running for quite a while, and I don't listen to it daily, so I'm just getting further and further behind. I need a way to get out of it. Maybe a better podcast to replace it would do the trick. I'm not sure what to listen to there really, so if you have any suggestions, please let me know. I'm pleased with how well I can hear traffic and people I say hello to when I'm listening to the podcast with these headphones on, so that's good. That wouldn't have been the case with the ones I've tried in the past. So they're not bone conduction, they're air conduction, so it's almost like a little speaker that hovers in front of your ear. That seems to work really well. I've been wearing them around the house to listen to stuff on my phone because they're actually louder and clearer than my phone speakers, so that's another good use for them besides running. Just got to 6 kilometres. That's reminded me of another bonus feature of wearing the earphones. Usually I have my phone in my back pocket and it's connected to my watch, but I start a commute route on my watch so I can follow the navigation, and each kilometre my phone will shout out of my back pocket how long it took me to do that kilometre and which kilometre it is. So lap 6, 706 or whatever it might be. But it comes through my earphones now, so I can actually hear it clearly, not just a muffled rumble from the back of my shorts. So yeah, that's a feature even when I'm not listening to a podcast, and I would get the alerts into my ears. Right, so just passing through the village of Heath, which is the nearest village to the motorway. Just thought I'd sit down on this bench because it's here. I remember it being a nice spot. This time of year, kind of late spring going into summer, nettles are the bane of my life. Out on these runs, there's a few routes that I've tried recently, I've crossed off the list for the time being, so it's just too stingy. I thought I remembered there being some down here. This is what I have to get through. We can continue on the woodland walk. Plotted the route this morning to get as far as the Twin Oaks Hotel by the motorway. They sometimes have car boot sales here, and there seems to be a lot of people. I'm not sure if that's what's happening. Might pick up a cheap pair of running trainers, eh? Right, made it all the way through the car park and to the finishing point of my route. Felt a bit awkward running through the car park there. Plenty of people about. But now I've got to go back because I've plotted an out and back route. So I'll leave it there, guys. I'll be able to listen to my podcast a bit more fully on the way home. But yeah, the quality's pretty good on the headphones. I'll be sticking with them when I decide to listen to stuff on the run. All good. Thanks very much to Soundpeats for sending me them, and I'll catch you next time, guys. Yeah, decided to use one of the less frequently used routes on the way home, just to see how it was at the moment. It was just thick mud in winter, so I wondered what it was like now everything's dried up. And this is the path, apparently. Sometimes I get the impression people don't want you using certain paths. This is one of them. I've just got an image of a combine harvester coming over the hill and not seeing me. And yeah, I'm kind of halfway in. So there's no easy escape from this spot. Fingers crossed I make it home. Ugh. Didn't want any skin left on my legs anyway. Just dragging all these rubbery plants past them. Seems to be doing the trick. Anybody see a fence? Shout up if you can. Had a near fatal injury already. This skin's wearing off on my leg as I'm brushing past all the plants. I've decided to go left, seeing as that's where my watch seems to think the path is. Right, note to self, don't come that way again unless I can actually find the clear path.